It's on.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Marcus Moore. I'm live here in the Bronx. I'm on 941 Interview Avenue. Today I have a special guest, and she's going to introduce herself. And your name is?
My name is Tawana.
Okay, Tawana, why are you here today? What's going on? Just relate that. You can talk a little bit about that. What's going on here today?
Well, we just got information that this particular shelter building is going to be closing, and we just got that paper in on yesterday. So therefore, we have no caseworkers to inform us of any information at all. All of our personal information represents the Social Security cards of ourselves, our children, all of the personal stuff, medical, physical, all that are in the office where the managers, case managers do their work. The office is supposedly locked. The second floor of that office is not locked. We have no access to our personal information at this time. We don't know when managers will be reacting to the office. We have no information on that. The managers never said anything about the building closing or anything of that nature. The only thing we got was a letter. And then shortly after that, DHS came out and let us know that that letter was something we ought not pay attention to because unless DHS say we have to move. But there's obviously a conflict between the agencies, DHS and the agency that runs this building. So therefore, there could be a conflict with how they're living right now. So while we're out here right now, we're fighting against this housing particular situation where we need to get permanent housing. We need to focus the agencies and DHS.
I might put my bags, let me check.
Focus on placing people who are in this temporary housing situation in their permanent housing. That needs to happen, whether it be, the New York City housing, or whether it be, however they get this done, it needs to be done. But the pressure that we live under temporary housing is ridiculous. No one should live under that pressure.
Wait a minute, now you say pressure, conditions. Let's talk a little bit about that. What kind of pressure?
Well, for instance, from day one, which was July 1st of last year when I moved here, I have been trying aggressively to find a way to move and get the finances and so forth. I told them how much money that I made alone. That should have been enough to help us out of this particular condition. They did not assist with trying to help us get that. The conditions there, vermin running all around the apartment, electrical situation, when you use the oven, you can't use your microwave because at the same time there's too much energy pulling off, and if it does, then the lights will go out and it'll stay out until a certain someone comes up. And usually if that happens on the weekend, you're not going to see it until Monday, so the lights will be out overnight. Besides the lights, the building, they try to keep the building clean on the outside, and people are responsible for keeping their own communities clean, and that's fine. But then they have tenants that don't understand how to keep their unit clean, and therefore you may have lights in their house.
Wow, this is crazy. So now, let me ask you this here. What do you want to be done in this situation? Because it seems like there's a lot of building residents out here, and they look like they are very mad, frustrated. I see some of the women out here, they look like they're going to be expecting bringing new life into this world, and they have baby. I don't think we want y'all here. And just tell the people what you want to be done in this situation right now.
I would like, if there's a thing called emergency housing, a long time ago, what they used to do with people that had housing issues, they would put them in New York City housing, like your project. They put you in that. I think that was a good quality way to begin to stabilize families, begin to build them. Even though the project has its problems as well, it does have its conditions and its issues as well. But it is better than being in a shelter type situation where you have a pressure where somebody, you have to see your case manager every week because you've been there for a year, no one to your home. There are people that are working here every single day to go out to go to work, but yet at the same token, we still have to live in here because the jobs that they have, we can't afford to live
millions of New Yorkers who don't understand shelter life, who don't understand how it is to be working and trying to get yourself out of situations such as DHS. You know, people need permanent housing. What do you have to say for, you know, people who's not experiencing the world that you're living in the world I definitely know about, because I'm definitely going through a lot of struggles myself. What can you tell the people out there who don't experience this type of life?
Well, first up, just first let it be known that people that live in the shelters are just like anybody else. And I would hope that this interview would help the process of taking the stigma off of people who live in shelter-type situations. People are living in permanent situations that still have issues. So it just so happens that the people that have been living in permanent housing, their issues were a lot stronger than what their circumstances was, and it overtook them to the point where now they're in a shelter situation. But we cannot negate the fact that, you know, we're all human. We all have our downfalls. We all have our issues. And one of the issues, the primary issues, is finances, economics, okay? And if we begin to seriously address the issues of economics, the economic issue in our society today, then perhaps the empowerment of people rising up and getting better jobs, better education, and so forth can be accomplished. And that therefore we will have to have the situation of shelter life and all that kind of stuff. Because you know what? Whether it be a shelter or a regular building or whatever, it's still life. People are still raising their babies in the shelter. People are still raising their babies in permanent housing. People are still working in permanent housing. People are still working in shelters. Yes, we all have our issues. We all have our vices. But one is no better than the other. So I think that we need to stop with the stigmatizing of people in shelters. Okay, we all have our issues. We all have our problems. So let's address the real issue, which is helping people get on their feet with whatever the issue is that would help them overcome so they can be better at what they do.
Now, before I go, right? Now, we came from an era of civil rights. How important it is for people today to vote? How important it is for those people who are beat down, trodden down the system? How is it important for them to vote today so they can have their voice heard, so they can be able to have some kind of say-so in today's society and this what they call democracy? Democracy.
Well, the first thing is that I understand the people that say that they choose not to vote what happened, but they would rather stay around the coffee table in their house and complain. My thing is this, and my plea is this: if you really are serious about what you're talking about around the coffee table or with your girls or with your boys, if you're serious about change and you're serious about not just making change for yourself, but your sister or your brother or your mother or whoever, it is very essential that you vote, simply because you're not the one that's making the decision. So you want to be the one that at least has a say of who's in office, that make a say over your life, over your mama's life, over your brother's life, and your children's life. So if you really are serious about change and about doing something that's significant, all it takes is to go down and vote. You don't have to be on the civil rights motion. You don't have to be, marching and fighting and all that. That's not your forte. But the way that you can fight is just simply, that's the one way that you can make a difference in your day and your day-to-day things that you do.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it live. We are here live at 941 Intervale Avenue. We are here in the Bronx. And once again, my name is Marcus Moore, and I bring you that real grassroots news that the people want to hear about in the community. Now, if you want to take a look at this later on, you can go to homelessnothelpless.tumblr.com. You can email me, Mr. Moore 357@AOL.com or morehomesteaders@gmail.com. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Marcus Moore. And I bring you that real grassroots news that the people want to hear about. Marcus Moore, thank you. Worldwide, peace. Marcus Moore.
Good.
Okay, look. Here, look. I'll show you how.